go off the rails. Did you know it's time to raise our sails? It's freedom like you never knew. Don't need bags or a pass. Say the word, I'll be there in a flash. You could say my hat is off for you. Oh, we can zoom all the way to the moon from this great wide wacky world. Jump with me, grab coins with me, oh yeah. It's time to jump up in the air. Jump up, don't be scared. Jump up and your cares will soar away. And if the dark clouds start to swirl, don't feel enchanted, 'cause I'll be your one-up girl. So let's all jump up super high, high up in the sky. There's no power up like dancing. You know that you're my superstar. No one else can take me this far. I'm flipping the switch. Get ready for this. So let's do the Odyssey.
One day, James had to wait at the station till Edward and his train came in. This made him cross.
Late again!
Edward laughed, and James fumed away. After James had finished his work, he went back to the yard and puffed onto the turntable. He was still feeling very bad-tempered.
Edward is impossible.
He grumbled to the others.
He clanks about like a lot of old iron, and he is so slow, he makes us wait.
Thomas and Percy were indignant.
Old iron? Slow?
Why, Edward could beat you in a race any day.
Really?
Said James.
I should like to see him do it.
Next morning, James's driver was suddenly taken ill. He could hardly stand, so the fireman uncoupled James ready for shunting. James was impatient. Suddenly,
Oh no, James,
the
where
signalman
you going?
shouted. There was James, puffing away down the line.
All traffic halted!
He announced at last. Then he told the fireman what had happened.
Two boys were on James's foot point messing with the controls.
Phew.
They tumbled up and ran when James started.
The signalman answered the telephone.
Yes, he's here. Right. I'll tell him. The inspector's coming at once. He wants a shunter's pole and a coil of wire rope.
What for?
Wondered the fireman.
It's me, but you gotta get it quickly.
The fireman was ready when Edward arrived. The inspector saw the pole and the rope.
Good man, jump in.
We'll catch him. We'll catch him.
Puffed Edward. James was laughing.
What a lark! What a lark!
He chuckled to himself. Suddenly, he was going faster and faster. He realised that he had no driver.
What shall I do? I can't stop! Help! Help!
Hold on, James. We're coming. We're coming.
Called Edward. Edward was panting up behind with every ounce of steam he had. At last, he caught up with James.
Steady, Edward.
Called his driver. The inspector stood on Edward's front, holding a piece of rope in the crook of the shunter's pole. He was trying to slip it over James's buffer. The engine swayed and lurched. At last!
Got him!
He shouted. He pulled the noose tight. Gently braking, Edward's driver checked the engine speed, and James's fireman scrambled across and took control.
So, the old iron caught you after all.
I'm sorry.
Whispered James.
Thank you for saving me. You were splendid, Edward.
Oh, that's all right.
Replied Edward. The engines arrived at the station side by side. The Fat Controller was waiting.
A fine piece of work. James, you can rest and then take your train. I'm proud of you, Edward. You shall go to the works and have your worn parts mended.
Oh, thank you, sir. It'll be lovely not to clank.
He's a really useful engine, you know. All the other engines, they'll tell you so. He huffs and puffs and whistles, rushing to and fro. He's the really useful engine we adore. He's a really useful engine, you know. 'Cause the Fat Controller, he told him so. Now he's got a branch line to call his very own. He's the really useful engine we adore.